Is education the problem or the solution? Education has been blamed for a myriad of problems throughout American history. In order for education to be the solution, it must reach all of the students. A variety of laws have been passed throughout the years in efforts to reach all the students and provide them with the learning that they need in order to improve and to resolve the problems in our society. This presentation focuses on the most recent law, Every Student Succeeds Act, which replaced No Child Left Behind. So how do teachers reach students today? Teachers use a variety of methodologies to teach the students in their classroom. Everything from old-fashioned lecture to the new hybrid or blended learning is used. On the left is an infographic I created in a previous class based on an article that describes the learning process in a hybrid learning classroom. Notice there's various inputs that go into the student for learning and reflection, and the output is a demonstration of knowledge, but more important is the skills that are developed to prepare the student to be a lifelong learner and to overcome the challenges and to have the skills they need in order to be successful in life. In order to reach all students today and help each student be successful, teachers have to use differentiation. Differentiation refers to the teacher adjusting the curriculum to start at the level of each student's abilities, and then creating a path that is individualized for that student through the curriculum in order to ensure the student's learning, success, and mastery of the concepts and skills. Please note this is very different from the historical meaning of differentiation used in Spring, which refers to a series of tests used to determine the social status or standing or destination of a student. What does differentiation look like? According to DeFore, it's a very simple process. The teacher is going to focus on the essential standards in the curriculum. For each essential standard, they're going to establish a pacing criteria and success criteria for that standard to help the student maneuver through the learning process. They're then going to pre-assess to determine the student's needs as well as their strengths and weaknesses. Based on these strengths and weaknesses, most teachers will group the students by shared topic or ability in order to best facilitate peer learning and interaction. Teachers are then going to provide a variety of learning activities which students utilize to master the skills. These activities need to have immediate feedback to the student, whether it's as simple as an answer key at the top of the worksheet in which students can check their answers as they move through, or an online tool or game which provides immediate feedback to the student in order for the student to determine if they need assistance or if they're ready to move forward. The teacher is then going to respond to the individual needs of the students throughout the learning process before they move on to the next standard. The research results for differentiated learning have been very positive in mixed ability classrooms, with students with disabilities receiving more benefits than they would normally. It's also challenging your high ability students and moving them forward. There's a higher performance on average for summative assessments or testing, and overall there's improved reading, math, and comprehension skills. So differentiated learning has proven to be very successful in reaching and teaching all students. So what are the challenges that teachers face in implementing differentiation in their classroom? In my experience, there are three main challenges: time, resources, and skills. Differentiation requires the teacher to front-load resources, identifying them in advance, to program them into tools, or to create activities that the students can use to self-assess, learn, and progress through the curriculum. This takes a lot of time outside the classroom. It also takes a lot of skills in utilizing these tools. When looking at reaching all of the students, we also have to look at the school culture. What is the focus of the school? Is our focus on the extracurricular activities, the sports, the parties, the fun, homecoming, prom, all those wonderful school events? Or are we focusing on hard work and dedication, having a safe and secure environment, academically challenging material, and having a nurturing and encouraging environment? All of these aspects help a school be successful and help students receive a well-rounded learning and education. But it requires balance. We can't overemphasize any one of these areas at the exclusion or the neglect of another. Differentiation also changes the classroom culture. For some classrooms, this will only be a slight change. The role of the teacher is shifted from the majority of the time being spent planning ahead and during class, actively monitoring, participating, answering questions, and pointing students to resources. The teacher is also tracking the progress and assessing the learning of the students as they move through the curriculum. The role of the student has also changed. They are now actively participating and taking ownership of their learning as opposed to sitting and listening to a lecture. This requires interaction with peers, practicing concepts, but most important, a self-assessment and reflection, and asking for assistance in applying the learning instead of being passive. The biggest change that's going to happen in order to reach every student and to teach them is the measure of success. We have a culture of accountability in America where we use test scores in order to measure the success of a program. The difficulty is the success that's measured is immediate for that school year, and often to measure success on learning, you need at least 3 years in order to determine whether or not a student has learned material and is able to apply it. The other difficulty is that teachers are teaching to a test focusing on multiple choice outcomes in order to justify their abilities in the classroom, instead of focusing on the learning and the improvement of the student. Again, very difficult to measure the learning because it has to happen over a larger time period. It's not just happening in one school year. In conclusion, education can be the solution. We can reach every student, but we need support. We need resources in order to differentiate the curriculum to meet the needs of the students where they're at and to help them progress through the learning process. We also have to change the culture of our schools, our classrooms, and more importantly, our country. Instead of measuring every multiple choice question, we need to focus on measuring progress, learning, and improvement. Thank you very much.